Episode 4, Vatos. When I was talking about before, I said that there was an episode, this episode, I didn't like much when I first saw it. I remember thinking it felt too stereotypical, and it felt like something you'd see in a comic book. Didn't know at the time that Robert Kirkman wrote this story, or wrote this script, this episode. So, now rewatching it, I take it differently, and I look at it at a different perspective. My grandparents are older now, so they're not an old age home, but I would like to think that if something like this ever did happen, first instinct for me, because I live near them, would be to go get them. So this story kind of hit with me a little bit closer to home than originally. Also, the little old lady in this reminds me of my grandmother exactly. But the episode opens up with Andrea and Amy, and they're talking, and you're getting the parallels, how different these two sisters really are from each other, and how their father taught them how to fish differently due to their own personalities. And Andrea needed to catch the fish to take home to eat, just like she needed to prove that she did something, which leads to what her character's like later on. Like, she's independent. And Amy was more like she wanted to catch it just to have fun and then send it back because she didn't want to eat them or whatever, just having a good time fishing. Then we get to see what happens with Daryl, Glenn, Renck, and T-Dog as they find the hand of Merle's hand, and they decide to go track the blood traces, where it's going, and if they can find Merle, because he might be still around. You know what I was wondering? The hand. Like, okay, he cut off the hand. The hand's dead, right? So how come the hand wasn't moving? I mean, obviously they couldn't do it because then they can't get to later on telling us the story that it doesn't matter if you die, whatever. But it would have been cool if that hand just started moving. And it was, what the fuck is this? Why is it moving? He was back! He was back! You sons of bitches! Well, anyway, now I realize why Merle got away, because he cut his arm off, and then there was another door. I guess this building was really big. They had two bulkheads. That's what you called, the exit to the rooftop, the bulkheads, the two bulkheads. One was chained up where the walkers were trying to get into. The other one was wide open, but no walkers came up there. So they track it down, and then they decide, okay, we're going to look for Merle, but we want the guns first. So we're going to go pick up the guns. And as they go to get the guns, Glenn's the one that comes up with this master plan. He gets ambushed by these Vatos, by these Spanish gangsters, and they kidnap Glenn, but they also, at the same time, they take Glenn, and one of their guys gets caught by Daryl. So they go to see these guys, and you think it's kind of stereotypical, and it's a little bit off-putting at first. I mean, like I said, my first time I saw it, I was a little disturbed with this stereotype. But then, when you get to see the people that they're trying to protect, the old people, and you don't know that yet. Like, they're basically bluffing, and they're saying they're going to kill Glenn. And who don't know? They might actually do it, but like Rick doesn't know either. They said they want the guns, and they'll let go of Glenn in exchange for their friend. Rick's like, fuck that. They said if we don't, they're going to want to go guns blazing. We'll go in guns blazing. We're not giving them our guns. So they go back, and they're about to blow shit up, and this little Spanish lady that really reminds me of my grandmother, the way she talks and everything. She's she's so cute, and she's like, Rick, well, she doesn't say Rick, she says, excuse me, officer, why, don't take this boy, he's a good boy, he had problems before. I don't know, it just really reminded me of my grandmother. And then he said, no, I'm not going to take your boy, I'm just looking for somebody. The Asian boy? And then you get to see that it was an old age home inside there. And all the people that were supposed to work there just bounced and left those old people to die or God forbid. And the janitor, which is the main guy, I forgot what his name is, Guillermo is the janitor, and he stood there, and the old lady's grandson, Felipe, I think is his name, Felipe, he's always a gangster in every movie he's in. I think he was in Training Day. This is funny. He was in Training Day, and was it Training Day? Yeah, he was in Training Day, and so was the guy from Fear the Walking Dead. He played the head gangster who Ethan Hawke had the picture of his daughter in his wallet, whatever. And he was gonna fucking kill Ethan Hawke. Is it Ethan Hunt? I don't know. Ethan Hunt is fucking Mission Impossible. Anyway, so they say that this is an old age home, and the guy's like, oh, I got 3 dogs that are ready to eat the shit out of your boy Glenn. It was 3 Chihuahuas, the meanest dogs you ever see. It was 3 Chihuahuas. It's like, man, I thought you were gonna eat my dogs, but yeah. Then we go back. Oh, then the other story is that Jim, a weird character, all of a sudden is just digging graves, and people are back at the camp are worried, like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And he won't explain himself. So Shane has to take him down, tie him up, and because they think he might be a little bit dangerous, but they just want him to relax until he can explain why he's doing this, which he has no explanation. And then Andrea and Amy catch a whole bunch of fish for dinner. Rick and the Vatos come to an agreement. Rick gives them some guns in exchange, just because he sees that they're actually good people, and this whole show that they were doing was ridiculous. So because of that, and he's taking care of people, he's like, look, take half. This is what we're gonna do. You take half and let's just fucking call it a day. So it was really cool. And then Rick and them leave. They head back to the camp. At the same time as they're going back, the van gets stolen, and they believe Merle stole the van from them. So they have to go on foot, pretty much. So they get back to the campsite, and shit just goes bad. The camp gets attacked, basically because when Glenn was coming with that car and the sirens, that drew walkers to the camp. Because the day before, there was one walker that showed up, and they said they never had any walkers show up over there. Jim said it's because there's no food in the city anymore, but that's not true. It's because Glenn made that noise and attracted them over there, I think, at least. So Amy gets attacked and dies. Well, yeah, pretty much. And Andrea has to deal with that, and she's just really emotional. A lot of people at the camp die, people we never got to meet, which is a plus. And Rick and them make it back in time to save the rest of the group. All in all, it was a really good episode. I know I just went verbatim. And there's another interesting line in this that Daryl says at one point when they're looking for Merle. They're following his blood tracks, and they see that he basically, I forgot what the word is actually called, but he burned his arm, so this way it would stop bleeding. Daryl said, Daryl goes, Merle's a tough son of a bitch. He's like, only body can kill Merle is Merle. Which is actually true. It is true. Now you might say, no, it's not. The governor killed him. Merle killed Merle. Okay. Anyway, I liked this episode a lot. Actually, it was better than the previous one. Not as good as the first two, but it was a pretty good episode. And looking back on it, much better than it was the first time I saw it. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I think they did do. There's a deleted scene on season 2 on the DVD or Blu-ray of them going back to the Vatos, because I always wanted to see, what happened to that group of people, because that would be interesting. And deleted scenes, I think they're all dead. So that sucks ass. But anyway, it was a good episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it down below. Whoever's out there listening, my 4 subscribers. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.